Okay, everybody, well, welcome into your practice. Before I forget, I do want to say that 2 blocks are not required, but there are a couple of different points in the practice where we're going to use them as like a touch point. So if you have them available and can grab them really quick, just take those and place them alongside your mat. And then we're going to get started on our backs in supine tree pose. So you can go ahead and lie down on your back. And let's start with the right leg in that supine tree. So you can bend the right knee and the sole of the right foot right on the inside of the left thigh. And really just find a nice place for the hands, whatever feels good to you. Maybe the lower belly, maybe you just want them alongside you, or maybe it feels good to kind of bring the arms overhead, kind of welcoming in a little bit more space for the breath through the lungs. And we'll take about 30 seconds just to ground here. I'll just let you know that this practice is really geared towards moving us towards flying pigeon pose, Eka Pada Galavasana. A little bit more of a physical focus in the practice today. And we're starting by just opening up the hips, which is a prerequisite for that flying expression of flying pigeon. And wherever the arms are, start to bring them down alongside you. Lift your right leg for a moment and just cross your right ankle over your left knee. And then bend your left knee, bringing your left foot onto the mat. And take a moment in this figure 4. Maybe you lift your right hand and just place it on the inner right knee and just gently encourage that right knee open. You may not feel anything here, and that's fine too. Just maybe being in this place of comfort. And then we'll take this into a threading of the needle by interlacing the hands behind the left thigh. So sometimes we call this threading the needle, but this is also a reclined version of pigeon pose. And we'll be exploring lots of different versions of pigeon as we move towards the flying variation. And I'm going to invite you to just let a sway kind of come into this pose, just letting the legs kind of glide a few inches to the left, a few inches to the right. And maybe noticing as you sway the legs from side to side, where you feel maybe a little bit more intensity in the hip and where you feel a little bit more space. And just noticing where those sensations exist in the body. And then pause in neutral. Take your arms out like a capital T position, palms are down. We're going to move into a twist here. So you're going to keep your legs in the figure 4, but drop them all the way to the left until your right foot touches the mat or the floor. Keep your right shoulder down. As you inhale, bring the legs back up to center, and we'll take it the other direction. So the right thigh is going to come onto the mat. The sole of the right foot's kind of pointed up to the ceiling. Inhale, center. 3 more times each side, left. Using the core, center, and right thigh comes to the floor. Twice more each side, seeing if you can use the strength of the core to keep both shoulder blades on the mat as you do this twisting action from the waist to down. 1 more time left, and 1 more time right. And then coming into center, straighten both legs up towards the ceiling. Give yourself a brief moment. Flex those feet, maybe feeling a little bit of a hamstring tug. And then bend the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a hug. Taking a moment in happy baby pose, either holding onto the outer ankles or feet, letting the thighs melt down, rocking from side to side for a moment. And then as you exhale, melt into that supine tree pose on the second side. So you're going to bring that left leg into the tree, right leg is out straight. And we spent about 30 seconds here just letting the body land. Hands can come into whatever position is most comfortable. And so as we build towards Eka Pada Galavasana, that flying pigeon, maybe you close the eyes right now and you visualize the flying pigeon is like a pigeon pose. So that front leg bent, the back leg extended like tail feathers. But it sits on top of chaturanga arms. So we'll really be cultivating a really integrity-filled chaturanga in today's practice. Let's go ahead and lift that left ankle, cross it over the right knee, and then bend the right knee, right foot on the sole of the floor. Take your left hand to just gently press that left knee away. Again, you may or may not feel sensation here, and it's okay if this is just comfortable. We're always looking for good or bad, sensation or not sensation in the pose, but neutrality also exists in our yoga poses. So sometimes things just feel neutral. Interlace the hands behind the right thigh, bring it in for that reclined pigeon, and then start that swaying from side to side. Just a little lullaby motion in the body, just kind of rocking the hips open, a little coaxing, a little massage with movement and breath. And then you stay in center. You take your arms out wide, palms can be down, isolating the strength of the core. Shoulder blades stay down as you drop the legs to the right, left foot lands, and then pass through center and drop to the left, left thigh touches. Center and to the right. And center. This is my tighter hip, left. So I'm just acknowledging that I'm feeling a little bit more resistance in my body on this side, and that's okay. Now I just know that's something that I'm gonna have to work with throughout the practice today. Just knowing I might have to make a little bit more concessions with this side, might need a little bit more support, a little bit more grace. Last time to the left. And then taking a moment in center, unravel the legs, reach them up towards the ceiling, flex the feet, maybe feeling a pull in the hamstrings. And then bend the knees into the chest, give yourself a hug. We'll start to rock and roll. You're coming all the way up to downward facing dog. So rocking your way up and through and making your way to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So we know we're going to be really focusing on that chaturanga because that's the foundation of the arm balance we're moving towards. But also really going to be focusing on hip opening and strengthening an extended leg behind us like tail feathers. Let's start by moving and warming up the body through 3 classic rounds of sun salutations, which will begin right here. Give yourself an inhale in this downward facing dog. As you exhale, go ahead and soften the knees down to the mat. Step your right foot forward, find your low lunge. Sweep your arms up. We'll start to take this movement to breath as we work to build a little bit of heat. Release the hands down, step it back, downward facing dog, position 5. We'll move through knees, chest, and chin these first couple rounds. Ashtangasana as you find that 8-pointed pose. And then slithering onto the mat, lifting from the back of the heart into your cobra. Passing through all fours, returning position 8, downward facing dog. And then I'm going to keep that compassionate transition of bringing the knees down, left foot forward this time for my low lunge on the second side. Arms sweep up, big inhale. Exhale, hands come down, right foot comes forward, fold in. Sweeping the arms out, up and back is 11. Hands together, 12. Twice more movement to breath. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, hands position 1. Inhale, breath comes in, finding a baby back bend at the top. Exhale, long spine, maybe soften the knees as you forward fold. Step your right foot to the back of the mat, right knee down, arms float up on the inhale. Exhale, hands float down, lift the hips downward facing. Keep that knees, chest, and chin, Ashtangasana. Sliding forward, finding your cobra. Passing back up and through, Adho Mukha Svanasana, 8. Right foot comes forward, knee down, arms up, inhale. Exhale, hands down, left foot forward, fold in, nose to shins. Rising on the inhale, back bend at the top. Sealing it out, 12. Last round like that, inhale. Exhale. Letting this repetition really warm all the major systems of the body, folding over the legs. Keeping it smooth, left leg back, left knee down, arms up. Hands down, downward facing. Option for a chaturanga here if you'd like to take it. Cobra or up dog. Down dog. Left foot forward, arms up on that inhale. Right foot forward, Nose to shins on the exhale. Rising all the way up. Closing it out. We'll take a big long sequence in the middle of this series. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, palms together. Before you add on, look down, take your blocks, move them near the front of your mat, medium height, about shoulder or hip distance apart, maybe slightly wider. Okay? Come back up to your Tadasana, and here we go. Inhale, sweep those arms out and up. Exhale, fold over the legs. Hands are going to come to the blocks. We'll take 3 half lifts here. Inhale, lift up halfway. Feel the heart move forward. Exhale, drop in. Feel the palms press into the blocks. Twice more. Inhale, half lift. Heart is pulling forward. Exhale, head down, palms into blocks. Last time. Inhale, heart pulls forward. Stay here. Fingertips are on those blocks. Shift your weight to your left foot. Sweep your right leg behind you. Toes are still touching the mat. As you inhale, like there's a string attached to your right heel, lift your right heel up towards the ceiling, supported warrior 3. Exhale, lower the right toes, just tap them on the mat. Do that 3 more times. Inhale, let that string lift your right heel towards the ceiling. Really active right leg. Exhale, lower it down with control, tap those toes. Twice more. Inhale. So we're doing this to feel that activity of a strong back leg. Lower and tap the right toes. Last time. Inhale, lift and hold. You could keep the hands on the blocks or lift the hands to heart center. 3 breaths. Virabhadrasana 3. 2. 1 more big inhale. Bring the hands back to the blocks if you chose to lift them, moving into a pistol squat. Bend your right knee, bend your left knee, pass through a yogi toe squat, and extend your right leg forward. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Good. Keep that right leg lifted. Activate the shoulders away from the ears. 1 more inhale here. And then with control, lower the right heel, hands to the mat. Shift your bum to the mat. Well done. Take your left ankle, cross it over your right knee, much like we did when we were on our backs. Find those blocks. Inhale, lengthen the spine and walk them forward. Try to keep a flat back. So we don't want to round here. Really flat back here. So this is really getting into that left hip, which we're trying to open up. Just 1 more breath. And then we're going to take it into a seated version of pigeon, walking the hands behind us, bend the right knee, and you're going to move yourself forward. Again, we don't want to round the spine. Push down into the palms, shoulders away from the ears, pull the heart forward. Seated pigeon pose. And then maybe a little bit of rocking, much like we did in that warm-up. So movement like rocking or a little bit of bouncing can help to encourage the body to release pent-up tension. So this really subtle movement just helps to slowly release really long held tension in these big joints. 1 more breath here. And then we've got a really big transition. You're welcome to join me straight away, or if you'd like to watch, I'm going to straighten my right leg out. I'm going to untuck my left foot. I'm going to roll back and try to roll all the way forward into like a toe squat. So I'm going to roll back and I'm going to use my hands a little bit to come up onto my toe squat. Bring my blocks in. Yeah, good. And then use the power of this left leg. Stand up and sweep that right leg back to your warrior 3. Good. Inhale here. You're going to step to a lunge pose, right foot to the back of the mat. Keep your hands on your blocks. Bring your palms flat on the blocks. Push down into the blocks. Lift your left heel towards your navel and hover for 3. Hover. 3. Push those blocks away. Round the upper back like cat pose. 2. That's it. This is the action of our flying pigeon. Funky pigeon. Take your left foot, Put it in the middle of your mat and then roll onto the pinky side edge and wiggle your right leg back. And then just kind of move around, funky pigeon. So let it be funky. You're kind of massaging around that left hip joint. Good, just 2 breaths here. Again, just kind of getting into that left hip joint. Good. And then we're going to step back. My hands are going to come off the blocks, downward facing dog. Inhale, float that left leg up. Exhale, take my left ankle over my right knee. This is me in my kind of pigeon pose in downward facing dog. So I got that left ankle over right knee. Let the right heel melt down. Lengthen the outer arms. 2 more breaths here. Press the left inner knee back. And then unravel left leg towards the ceiling. Inhale, shift forward, plank pose, lower your left leg. Lower your left knees for your left knees, both knees for this round. Make sure your blocks are like right in front of your fingertips. 3 chaturangas where we're gonna tap the shoulders. So you're gonna bend the elbows, tap the shoulders, and then push away. 2 more, bend and tap, and push away. Last time, bend and tap. As you push away, lift your knees, find upward facing dog. Beautiful, downward facing dog. Closing out this sequence, inhale, float the left leg up. Exhale, step the left foot forward. 1 high lunge. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, step forward, hands to blocks, right foot meets the left, Uttanasana. Rising up to seal this side, Tadasana. Hands to heart center, close it out. Second side, sweep those arms out and up. Exhale, fold, hands to blocks. You've got 3 half lifts. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. A little bit less scary now because you know what's coming. Fold in. This third time, we keep a flat back. Shift the weight to the right foot. Float that left leg behind you, toes are on the mat. Imagine that string behind the left heel. Inhale, float it up, powering through that left leg. Exhale, lower and tap the toes. 3 more. Inhale, like that string is lifting the left leg. Exhale, tap. Feel that power and awareness in the left leg. And tap. Last time we hold, lift that left leg up. You could stay with the support of the blocks or lift hands to heart center, Virabhadrasana 3. 2 more breaths. 1 more inhale. As you exhale, smooth transition to pistol squat. Hands down, bend both knees. See if you can scrape that left leg through without it touching. Pause for a moment. Squeeze those inner thighs. Good. You're going to get to do this again, so we'll play with balance second time around. Lower the left heel with control, and then sit with as much grace as possible. Take that right ankle over that left knee. Let that right knee fall open. Find your blocks. Inhale, find the length in the spine, hinging forward. So all the action is really happening with the pelvis moving forward over the femurs. 1 more breath here. And then the upright pigeon pose, I take my hands behind me. I like fingertips facing back, bend my left knee, and then I find it's almost like a sunbathing position, lifting my sternum up towards the sky, and then a little bit of rocking from side to side. Beautiful. And so really thinking about how the collarbones are broadening here. When we're in our arm balance, the tendency is to close the upper chest, but we want to bring this kind of opening into the arm balance. Okay, straighten that left leg forward, uncross, that right ankle, so right foot is down. Big transition, roll back, get your momentum, and then forward into your toe squat. So back and forward. Good, yes. Find your blocks, strengthen the right leg, send it through. Warrior 3, great job. Inhale, step back to your lunge. Keep your hands on your blocks. Inhale here, palms down. Exhale, heel towards the navel, scoop it in. Yes, push those blocks away, round the upper back. 2. Yes, one more inhale. And then foot in the middle of the mat, roll to the pinky side edge, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle that back foot, and then a little just funky movement. So you can see it a little bit more on this side. I'm kind of trying to open up that right outer hip and thigh. Funky pigeon. And then we're eventually coming into that down dog with the figure 4 legs. So I've got to plant my right foot enough to safely take my hands off the blocks. And then I'm going to step back into that figure 4 down dog with my right ankle over my left knee. Take me a couple breaths here. Right knee opening up, left heel melting down. Really good time to check in with the breath. Making sure we're still being really nourishing with the breath, not shortchanging ourselves. And then we take the vinyasa, so we unravel that right leg. Let's keep them with the knees down. As we bring the knees down, we'll keep them half for this round. Shift forward to half plank, and then 3 shoulder taps. Chaturanga tap and up. Chaturanga tap and up. Last time tap, push up, lift the knees, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Inhale, float right leg up. Exhale, step right foot through. Sweep the arms up, 1 inhale. Close it out, hands down, left foot forward. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, hands to heart. You're going to get to do that again, but we're going to do a balancing pose in between doing that whole sequence the second time. So we're going to do Bonsai Tree now, which is really the precursor to Eka Pada Galavasana. So we're going to start by standing on the left leg, crossing the right ankle over the left knee, open out that right knee. You've been here before. This is your figure 4. Hands to heart center, and then start to bend that standing left knee. Hips go down and back. Heart moves forward, spine is long. All pieces of the puzzle we've built before. Now, if you know you're going to work with the arm balance, see how it would feel to bring your triceps in front of your shin bone. Keep the palms together. Just feel that connection between the triceps and the shin. Last breath. And then start to come out with control. Stand up tall and release. Maybe release the hands, roll the standing ankle a little bit, and then we'll switch sides. So right leg, standing leg, left ankle over right knee. Let that left knee open up, hands to heart center, and then you start to, it's almost like you're coming into chair pose. Hips go down and back, spine stays long, heart stays lifted. And then even if you're going to go low, try not to round. Try to keep that length in the spine. The energy is still of the heart moving forward, the collarbones being broad. One more smooth, full breath here. And then you rise with control and release. Release the arms. If you moved at all like I did, navigate your way back to the front of your mat. We're going to move through the whole sequence again, and there'll be 1 or 2 additions, but pretty much the same thing. Finding your mountain pose, making sure those blocks are in place, ready to meet you. Circle sweep those arms out and up. Exhale, hands come down and land on those blocks. Inhale, you've got 3 half lifts. And fold in. Getting in the body with every breath. Fold in. Inhale, you stay in your half lift. Shift the weight to the left foot. Float the right foot behind you, toes are on the mat. Inhale, float right heel to ceiling. Exhale, lower toes tap. Power up that leg, lift it. Lower with control. Feeling the energy in the leg all the way up and all the way down. Last time you hold for 3, option to lift the hands to heart center or extend them forward. 2. 1. As you exhale, move through your pistol squat. Hands on the blocks, shift it through. Find your pistol squat, inner thighs together. See if maybe you can test 1 hand or 2 hands. Lower hands to blocks, right heel to floor. That went way better than expected for me, by the way. I never nail that, just acknowledging it. Let the hips come down towards the mat, and then take left ankle over right knee. Find your hands on the blocks. Inhale, long spine. This is really about the spine, not about how deep you go. Folding in. Think about those collarbones broadening, sternum lifting and opening. Moving into that upright, seated pigeon. Hands come behind you, my fingertips face back. Right knee bends. And again, it's like I'm sunbathing. Shoulders away from the earlobes, collarbones broad, sternum lifting. 2 breaths. And then trying to make a conscious transition here as I straighten my right leg, uncross my left, get my momentum, and make my way back to my squat. Whoop. Good. And then powering through that left leg, warrior 3, strong standing leg. Lower the right toes, keep your hands on your blocks. Palms flat. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, heel to navel. Lift it up. 3, 2. Think pigeon in the upper back. 1 more inhale. And then funky pigeon. Foot to middle of mat. Open up onto the pinky side. Wiggle the right foot back. This is very similar to how your legs are going to look in your full flying pigeon. Okay? So maybe just for experiment's sake, look at your legs. Look at your back leg. It's active. Left leg is essentially in pigeon. Push down through the blocks. This is very close to what you're going to do, except your arms are going to be in chaturanga. 1 more inhale. And then with some safety, stepping back to downward facing dog. So hands come off the blocks. Left ankle over right knee. Finding that figure 4 down dog. 2 full breaths here. Last big inhale. And then as you move into these chaturanga taps, unravel your left leg. You're welcome to return to that half plank position or shift forward to full plank. Then chaturanga tap and push up. 2 more. Chaturanga tap and push up. Last time you tap the blocks and then upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up. Step left foot forward. 1 high lunge, arms up. Exhale, hands down, fold it in. Circle, sweep those arms out and up. Close it out. Last side of the sequence, arms out and up. Fold over the legs. 3 half lifts, hands are on blocks. 1 and in. And 2 and in. 3, you stay lifted. Shift the weight to the right leg, slide the left leg back. Begin lifting left leg up. And tap. And up. And tap. So when you get to the point in your arm balance, you start extending that back leg, you have the muscle memory of what it feels like to have that active leg. Keep it lifted. Option Warrior 3, hands in heart center, or forward 2. Last inhale, moving to your pistol squat, inner thighs coming together, playing with balance. Hands to blocks, control the left heel down, hips down, and then we take right ankle over left knee. All about the spine, keeping the chest open as you inhale and hinge forward. We've been in this shape a lot, noticing if the body is responding. And then coming upright, arms behind you. Finding that sunbathing position with the chest. One more inhale. And then that big, sometimes clumsy transition. Left leg straightens, uncross the right, get your momentum, and find your squat. Inhale, use the strength of the standing leg, stand up, Warrior 3. Well done. Left toes to the back of the mat, palms flat on your blocks. Inhale fully, exhale, heel to navel, hold 3. 2. A lot of core work in every arm balance, but especially this one. Funky pigeon, right foot to the middle of the mat, pinky toe side, wiggle it back, and get a little funky. Yeah. Just kind of letting yourself move in a way that feels intuitive and yummy. Beautiful. And we're coming to the figure 4 down dog. So I'm taking my hands off the blocks. Right ankle's going to come over that left knee. And I give myself 2 full breaths in this down dog with these figure 4 legs. And then closing out this sequence, inhale, right leg up, lower right foot down, either half or full plank as you come forward. 3 chaturanga taps. Tap and up. And tap and up. Last one, you tap, up dog, down dog. Float the right leg up, step it through. 1 high lunge. Hands to blocks, left foot forward, fold. Rising up, seal it out. Release the arms, maybe close the eyes. Give yourself a couple breaths. Check in with the heartbeat. Maybe just noticing if there's any feeling tones around the heart, any colors, just anything that's sensory coming to you right now, just letting that in, just observing heat, movement. And blinking open the eyes, maybe giving yourself a little shake. So we are moving towards the peak pose, okay? I'm gonna kind of give you time. We're gonna do one side, and you'll have enough time. I'll probably just do it once and then kind of talk some through it, but I'll give you about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes to work with each side. So you don't have to rush. You can kind of tap and go a few times if this is newer to you. Remember, this arm balance is pigeon pose. It is this shape set on top of chaturanga arms, okay? So in chaturanga, where is your head? Where is your heart? It's forward. So you have to be willing to go a little bit forward, okay? Which means it can be a little scary, okay? Let's give it a whirl. Do what you can today. You can always come back to this. So I'm gonna have my blocks here because it just gives me a sense of where I'm going. If they distract you, you can move them out of the way. Not required in any way, shape, or form. You're not gonna be touching them. For me, they're just kind of like an anchor, an awareness point. I'm gonna come near the middle of my mat and we're gonna enter it from that bonsai tree. So we're gonna stand on the left leg first, cross the right ankle over the left knee, open that right knee out. Hands into heart center. Just like you're coming into a chair pose, you bend the knee, drop the hips back. Let the triceps start to slide in front of the shin bone. Maybe take a breath in here. Now this is the point you start to move near chaturanga. So I'm gonna bring my hands down. I'm gonna move these blocks so the recording can see. I'm gonna hook my right foot outside my left tricep, look forward, shift forward, keep my collarbone smiling, lift my left heel towards my buttocks. Stay here or start to fly my tail feathers, left leg up and back. Breathing. So you could stay in that tight ball and just work to lift those left toes, maybe just tapping them up and down. If you feel pretty comfortable in the tight ball, you could really squeeze that left heel towards the glutes, keeping it really condensed. And if you're looking to fly, let the body weight come a little bit forward to start to extend your left leg behind you. Really powerful tail feathers. Just about 3 more breaths on this side. And then you can reverse coming out, moving through that bonsai tree, and then unravel the right leg and give yourself an uttanasana. Let's soften the knees, let the belly rest on the thighs, let the arms just dangle, and maybe just welcome in a really slight sway in the upper body. This is a very high exertion pose, very physical, very demanding. And it's one where we can tend to hold the breath. So really check in with the breath here. We'll take about 10 more seconds here. And then we've been upside down for a bit, so be really unrushed as you keep the knees soft and start to roll yourself up to mountain pose. Maybe you keep the eyes closed for a bit. Don't want any dizziness. Maybe just a really brief check-in with the heart after playing with that first side. And then we'll start to build the second side. So I bring my right foot more towards the middle of the mat. I find my figure 4, step 1. Hands come to heart center. I start to drop near my bonsai tree, like dropping into chair. And then I start to invite my triceps in front of my shin. Keeping my collarbone smiling, my sternum lifting and opening. Then I move towards building my chaturanga. Hands come down, fingers are spread. I soften my elbows, look forward, shift forward. Hook my left foot outside my right tricep. Lift my right heel. And then maybe extend my tail feathers. Really giving yourself permission to move slowly as you work with this pose. Give you about 5 more breaths. 2. And then when you're done, find your pelvis in the middle of your mat. Janu Shirshasana, left leg forward, right knee bent. A shape that hopefully the body almost just falls into at this point. Circle sweep the arms out and up. Let the arms reach over that extended leg, folding. And let this pose at this point in the practice, this is a strange visual, but it's what came to me, be like an overfilled cupcake container. It's like when you put a little bit too much batter and then you bake and it kind of spills over the edges. So what I mean by that is when your body's in this pose, let yourself kind of like soften outside of the edges of the pose. So if that means that left leg rotates out a little bit, or maybe the torso gets a little sloppy, leaning to one side or the other, we're really moving towards rest. So let that sloppiness in. And then you could use your hands to lift up, or if you want to reach out and come up, you may. Really simple spinal twist. Bring that right knee up and in. Just Ardha Matsyendrasana A, left hand to right knee, right arm behind you. Really simple twist. And then looking forward, unwinding, we'll just switch the sides. Right leg extends, left knee opens. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, fold in. And again, not keeping it all buttoned up. No need to keep it stiff at this point. Let the body kind of spill out whatever direction it wants to go here. And then navigating your way up gently for just a really soft twist. Left knee comes up. I'm not even crossing my foot, keeping it super easy. Right hand to left knee, left hand behind, looking back and around over that left shoulder. And then we start to make our way to Shavasana. I do have the offering, if you'd like to take it, of finding Supta Baddha Konasana with the soles of the feet together, knees wide. I'm even going to take blocks underneath my knees. If that doesn't feel like a restorative place for you, for your final rest, then by all means, you could take traditional Shavasana or any other shape that feels really soothing to you right now. Just appreciating with profound gratitude the immense effort that your body and your mind gave to you as they worked in conjunction with one another for the last 45 minutes. And recognizing that what we're doing just now, this time of rest, is not a reward, but in fact, this is the most essential part of the practice. The body was worthy of this rest, even if it didn't do anything else in the practice today. Full recognition that you are not this amazing body, you are not your thoughts, but you are this pure and peaceful essence that resides within you always. So just giving yourself about 1 more minute in silence to just rest inside of yourself. Allowing your next breath or two to become a bit more pronounced and invigorating. followed by subtle movement that begins to awaken the body. And then eventually, in your own way and time, returning to an upright seated position. And we close this practice with either a really gentle gesture of the hands on the body in gratitude, or palm against palm, and a subtle dropping of the chin. May the entire universe be filled with peace, joy, love, and light, which in Sanskrit sounds like this: Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Victory to our practices,